Okay. Hey guys. So today we're not gonna talk too much about, or like, we're not gonna learn too much. We're just gonna talk about the future of top dogs and go over anything from the past or whatever. And we're just gonna try to uh, clear things up, basically. All right. So again, you guys pretty much know the rules. Like, if you're going to be late. Um, I mean, if you're going to be late or you're not going to be to a coaching, like make sure to tell me in advance. If you tell me in advance, it's not really a problem. But like, if you don't tell me in advance, then I'll be telling Smart Spin staff that you've been skipping coachings, and they'll find some kind of punishment for you. Okay. We're gonna get one or two new members. Like one of them we already know is Chini. I'm not sure where he. Like I haven't talked to him yet, and I don't know who the other person is. But Minjo left, and he entered Perez's Under the Wings group because he was falling behind. Unlike the rest of you managed to keep up and improve significantly, and you're ready for what we're going to be studying from here. So that's good for you guys. And yeah, so we're going to start working on some more complicated subjects. First of all, also then the challenge for this month, as always, there's going to be a live play review for one of you, and it's going to be the person who makes the most progress. So, it's still kind of the start of the month. So why don't you guys tell me where you're at right now? So, Doc Kisu, where are you at right now in poker? Like, how are things going? How's the grind going?
Like last day, I didn't enjoy that much like poker. I was like kind of making us some stupid things, so I just take the day off like yesterday, and like today gonna get back. Like my goal for this month is like to get to 100, but yeah, like to do this, I need to have like the pleasure full game because only then I'm just playing my close to e game and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure. Like, you need to um take some days off. Like, there's nothing wrong with taking some days off. Like, not ever nobody plays every single day of the year or the month or whatever. Like, everyone needs to take days off, obviously. Um, and yeah, so for you, in order to be a candidate to win the challenge for this month, you'll probably have to get promoted to hundreds, and you're probably the person in this group is closest to 100s. All right. Dudu Orim, how's the grind going? How do you feel about your game and everything?
Yeah, I started to feel pretty comfortable at 60s. Uh, Starting the last month, I tried to focus a lot on improving my GPV at 60s because I kind of sucked the first 1K tournaments. And also this month, I'm gonna focus a lot on studying, and I want to use as much as I can coffee cards, Flopzilla, and I also started using Icemizer. Today was, I believe, the first time that I actually used it for three-way, and I want to improve my GPV at 60s, like for this month, because it was pretty low the first 1K tournaments, as I told you. And I'm playing, and I think I'm also a lot more comfortable at 60s,
Yeah.
and I think I'm on the right way.
All right. Nice. So basically, for you, in order to win this live play review reward, you would probably need to Im- have very good chip EV this month at 60s and improve it significantly. And you need to keep on showing that you're improving as a player. You're actually one of the guys who's been improving at a very good and fast rate, I feel like, so that's good. And um, yeah, you'll need to keep on putting in this work into Flopzilla, Coffee Calcs, and all these
Yeah,
things, and that's going
I'm
to
gonna do
help
my
you
best.
improve a lot. Yeah.
Yes.
And KU, how are things going with you?
The things are going pretty well, and as I said in my mini blogs, I should reach before the last of the month 50s. I'm doing a pretty good CPV last 2K spins, and I'm continuing to grinding a lot and keep this CPV. And I'm studying a lot. It's a big blind position where I had some leaks and match dubs. And I watched a lot of videos, did lot of review in my market ends of this position, some calcs with Flopzilla, and things are going pretty better. And I already improved my CPV in this position this month. I'm going pretty well, better than other month, and that's all. I should reach. My first goal is to reach 50s finally this month.
Okay, cool. So everything sounds good. Sounds like you've made a lot of improvements. And for you, in order to win this live play review, you would need to get to 50s and keep showing the hard work, keep showing that you're working with tools and you're asking questions. Um, and I like basically I'm paying attention to each of you and seeing how you're doing, and I'll make my own judgment who I think deserves to win a live play review. Um,
What about you, Speedy Boy? Tell us something about your grind. Do you look for 500s? Like, or on what are you working right now? Tell us something.
yeah, like I would like to play 500s, not this month, but like in August or September. I need to put in a lot of volume, basically. Uh, so my main goal will be to be increasing my volume, and I'd like to play around 3,000 games this month, basically. So that's me.
Are you coming to the live event?
Yeah, you'll see me there.
Yeah, and you still put 3K tournaments? Yeah, that's insane, man. Good luck.
Thanks. I'll try. Okay. And I'd like to watch Belgium beat France today. Okay.
So we need to hurry, right?
Exactly. Okay. Um. All right. So, anyways, also we can just let me know what you guys thought about the first part. Like, were there some things you liked or did not like specifically? I want some feedback on that. Anybody?
Also said some time ago, like it was kind of too basics, like at least I think, but I understand why it was like that. And yeah, I'm like looking forward for like new things in this.
Uh huh. And others? Like, is there anything you'd like to review from part one, or?
I think curriculum part one is pretty clear. For me, I fixed some dubs I had, and I'm just waiting for, to be honest, for two ways more blind versus button, where I had some dubs, and I want to see some adjustment.
Okay.
Last other things I think is pretty clear now.
Okay, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
good.
it was pretty clear, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's talk about like quickly what we're gonna do in part two. It's gonna be roughly 12 weeks long, as you see, and I'll be adding some extra videos from time to time. I already added some at the bottom. The GTO Heads Up Big Blind vs Limp is the live plays are down there, and I'll keep on adding them if I make any more extra videos for you. Anyways, I think we'll keep working around 5 p.m. in general. If that's fine for everyone, we'll just keep with that as usual. And in the first week, we'll go over mastering using the HUD overall in general, just to make sure that we're all using the HUD, and there might be a lot of statistics that we're not using properly or understanding how to use. And then on the second week, I want to look at some of KU's villains. Yeah, so you're playing on .it, and let's basically you just pick some of your most frequent opponents, preferably someone who's you aren't sure how to play against or you want to play against better, and then we can look at them together and try to create some game plan against them on that day. Week 2, we're only going to have one coaching because this will be the live event, so I'm not going to be here on Tuesday. I think at least a couple of you won't be here on Tuesday. So we'll only have one coaching on Thursday, and we'll basically do a HUD analysis of one of us. Not sure who yet, but yeah, and we're going to try and see how we can analyze our own stats, try and see if we can spot any leaks, basically, quickly. Yeah. In week 3, that's when we'll be talking about the small blind versus button three-way adjusts. Yeah, pre-flop and post-flop. So I'll create a small presentation and go into the theory a bit about that. Actually, it's one of my best positions. I'm getting like 0 chip EV, or maybe even 1 chip EV. So it's very good. Week 4, heads up, small blind, bet check, bet option, and facing a check raise. These are more simple things in general, but still useful to go through. And we'll be looking through your hands since they're more basic spots, and we want to make sure that you're doing it properly. Week 5, we'll be going through three-way button widening and cutting pre-flop min-raise ranges. Okay, so this is kind of interesting as well. Yeah, I can definitely show you a few things. And I think everyone's range should be slightly different, by the way, depending on how they play. And we'll talk a bit about post-flop play, but the post-flop play is actually a lot simpler, because you basically just almost always bet from this position. Okay. Week 6, standard game plans versus common player types. Alright, so here, during this week, we'll just create a very simple game plan, or not a simple, but like a standard game plan against common types of players. So, for example, against a nit, or against a player who only shoves pre-flop or folds. Like these guys who plays 30% from small blind, but then they never fold from big blind or something. Donkers, maniacs, calling stations. So we're going to talk about how to create a general game plan against each of these player types, basically, to make sure that we understand how to play against them. And these are all like fish player types, basically. So it's important to know how to play against all the different types of fishes properly. We already talked a bit about this throughout the coachings, but we'll go more into detail and elaborate and make sure we understand it, and it should be good as well for review. Then we'll talk in week 7 about donking turns and rivers. I know this is something you've all been quite interested about learning. So I'll try and create a small presentation again for this and go into some of my own hands where I might, and then in the second part we'll go into my own hands where hopefully I'm using this sometimes. Then in week 8 we'll go... Alright, so... Yeah, we'll go into big blind versus small blind again, and we'll be talking about what to do on the turn, basically, rather than what to do on the flop, which will bring some more interesting spots probably than just looking at flop spots. During week 9, we'll be looking at turn pot size bets and larger, when and why to do it, because as you see, I'm potting it quite often on the turn or over betting, and I want you guys to understand why. And
Yeah, I'm
there's
very interested about this.
so barrels or delays and probes, these are the most common spots to do it. We'll have one more Flopzilla week. I think that will be good for all of us. Heads up big blind. After check raising on the flop, students' hands. And so wait, heads up big blind after check raising. Yeah, so we'll look at what to do on the turn. And heads up big blind versus second barrel without top pair. Oh yeah, so this will be like when we don't have top pair, basically, like we're put into pretty tough spots. And it's a lot harder to play this than, for example, when we have just a draw or top pair, because those are kind of obvious what to do, or like two pairs. When we have second pair or third pair, it becomes a lot more complicated. So this might be quite interesting too. Week 12, we'll talk about turn barreling in general. Like, I think just I'm pretty good at barreling theory in general. Like, that's one of my strengths, I think. So I'll try and go into the theory a bit more rather than just showing you examples like I did last time. And I'll show you some examples. And heads up big blind ISO pots. We did it, but probably we should look at my hands as well. So we'll probably look at my hands here. Okay, so basically, yeah, we're going to be talking about more advanced concepts, as you see. However, all the fundamentals will keep on all the fundamentals you've already learned will always be important to remember. So during the time, we should also be reviewing a lot of the fundamentals and it's important you understand them fully, basically, in order to go into some of these more complex topics. And while you're learning these new things, it's also important to try and implement them. So, for example, I don't know, you might learn about donking turns and rivers, and then you see, so now you understand when to do it. Well, you should actually try it and implement it at the tables a bit. And what you're going to find at first is you're probably going to spaz. Because you know you can do it, but you didn't fully understand it, and you're implementing it at the wrong frequencies, against the wrong people, in the wrong situations, on the wrong boards. Like, there's always something a bit off about why you're using it usually when you learn these new advanced things. I mean, that was the case for me for sure. But then, after a while, you just keep on practicing it, and you keep on implementing these new things, and you start to learn when it works, why it works. You just start to see more patterns, and you start doing it more in the good spots and less in the bad spots. And but in order to get there, you actually need to like practice, right, and implement the things. So like, yeah, at first you might learn something new, and it might cause you to totally spaz. Don't get too discouraged. Like, that's part of the learning phase. Like, whenever you learn something new, it's new, and you just have to experiment a bit, basically. But after a while, you become better at it, and then you learn when it's good, basically. So, yeah, important to remember to implement the things that we're learning, and like, how do you like the next 12 weeks, guys? Like, is there anything you'd change? Or do you think the plan is pretty cool the way it looks?
Yeah, pretty excited about it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, so,
Yeah, it's very complete to me.
okay. Cool. So looks like everyone's pretty happy with this, and I don't really think I have anything extra to add, so we'll just leave it at that. Um,